Hi, y'all. This is Dr. Tracy Harrell, and you are watching another wonderful episode of Better Together and Living Powerfully. So, we're talking to all the beautiful souls around the world. I know it sounds a little bit insane, but when you think about these topics of legacy and living powerfully, it's everything. So, today's episode is as sacred of an offering as everything we do week in and week out, right? What we really hope to do is focus on your purpose, your legacy, and how to live powerfully. Now, I've mentioned previously that there are 7 levels to living powerfully. Level 1 is really that foundational level. And I've been providing some insights linked to positive intelligence. You've heard of IQ, just your intelligence, your measure of your intellectual capacity. You've probably heard of EQ for emotional intelligence, your ability to connect with others in community. PQ is really the combination of IQ and EQ. It's really having a skill, but really having the ability to tap into those skills at any point in time, really when you need them the most, right? We call them our Jedi superpowers, where most people don't tap into them. You sometimes get a little hint of them, you get a taste of them, but this is like, how do you truly show up living powerfully day in and day out? And what's exciting is when we think about how to live powerfully with positive intelligence, we have some ancient principles that we talk about, sometimes African, sometimes Asian, but they're all like universally transformational. The one we're going to talk about today and kind of link into this is the Japanese concept of Ikigai. It's IKIGAI. Here in the Pacific Northwest, there's this annual festival that's called the Folk Life Festival. And when I saw that they were talking about that, I was like, oh, I love that. Like, it's foundational to who I am as an individual. When I was, I think, 12 or 13, I actually read some information about purpose, and I've always thought like that is your reason for being. Like that's what Iki is like, like life and being like on purpose. So if you think about like your reason for living, it's what gets you up in the morning. It's that powerful space where your passion, stay with me here, your mission, your vocation, like what do you do well? Passion is like what you love to do, right? Your mission is like, if you think about your heart, like this is what I was meant to do. Your vacation is like, what do you do well? And your profession is what can you get paid to do? So when you can combine all 4 of those elements, that is like the perfect storm. Like that's that center of Ikigai. That's when you know you're living on purpose. And that's really the walk that I've been walking, and it feels so good. I'm still working on the get paid to do it part. Like I do get paid. Sometimes I get paid extraordinarily well, but my heart also still gifts into community. And I will continue to do that. So I work with corporate partners who get the value of this work, and it's powerful. And again, I get to do the work I used to do in corporate now for other organizations, for executive leaders. And so it's all beautiful, but that's the work that I'm doing, right? So the heart is full. Right? When I die, when my last day comes, there's not going to be a question, Lord, did I do what you put me on this earth to do? The answer is yes, right? Like there's no question. So Ikigai is like when you have that fulfillment, when you have that confidence, when you know that you're walking on purpose, when you're like, hallelujah, every day. Like some days I wake up and I'm so happy. Like I was doing this celebration of life, and I was just like, oh my God, like I was at this beautiful waterfront location. Some people know what I've been doing, like living my very best, like every day's a vacation. So I'm staying in these really upscale places. Sometimes I'm house sitting and I'm doing these wonderful things, and I love it. Like I love it so much. I didn't realize how much I could love it. Right. So, but it was another blessing. And so I'm in this beautiful waterfront location as far as the eye can see. And I was just like, is this my life? I'm like, what? Literally, like when you're so happy, like you know you're aligned. Is there still work to do? Absolutely. Are there things I need to still continue to do? Absolutely. But when you're in that space where you know that your time and your energy, you're really being focused on the things that you were meant to do, where your mission, your passion, your vocation, and your profession are aligned, whew, and it's not new information for me. That's what I said. I've always had this aspiration to do this. And God used to use words like I used to hear him say to me, it's bigger than you. Like they were in different points in my life, right? And so my company is called It's All Bigger Than Me Consulting. I also started a ministry, a nonprofit that's called It's All Bigger Than Me Ministry, because this show, it's like part of my gift to the universe. Like if you knew that there was a space and a time where you didn't have to dread going to work, and I know a lot of people do. I was in a meeting with some people just recently, and they were talking about some things, and I was like, "Whoa, thank you, Jesus." As much as I love this idea of funds, but I've made a lot of really good money doing the work I love to do. And when you're doing what you love to do, and people see it, and they see why you're the right person to provide needs within their organization, it is a beautiful thing. So, like I said, it's a journey, it's a process, but to live powerfully, it is about being on purpose. It is. We've said it before, but I wanted to be even more clear this week. So I got to watch my time really carefully. I'm sorry, I get a little excited. You know that. You already know that about me. I do get excited. So if you ask the question, what is living powerfully? And again, it means different things to each person. That's what I love about this. Every person that I meet, I ask, what does living powerfully mean to you? My answer is not going to be the same as yours, right? There's some similarities. There's some elements. So when you say 7 levels of living powerfully, what does that mean exactly? Conceptually, right? It's very clear what it means, right? Like there's certain things happening. These concepts of ease and flow are happening. This idea of living, with intention, hopefully on purpose, right? With resilience, which is that practice of, right, recovering, being your best, knowing what your best looks like, what your worst looks like, and how to differentiate the two of those in the moment. That's the key thing. I had someone, I literally lost a friendship because someone who I thought was on this journey, and I said to them, hey, you said and that probably wasn't, I said it lovingly, and she was so offended that I actually called her in, really is what happened. And I was like, well, you know what? I can't. I don't think I could have done it better. And I apologize if I was offensive. But I was like, we're that's my love language. If I'm out there in the streets doing crazy stuff, I need for my friends, the people who really care about me, not to let me do something contrary to what I say I want to do. For me, don't let me show up crazy, right? Doing things that look like less than divine, right? That's not really aligned to my purpose. Don't let me do that. Please, if you're really my friend. And I think hopefully we're open and we realize that communication is a gift, right? Like this, feedback is a gift. So again, this concept of resilience, meaning coming back to your best, not only you seeing it for yourself, but hopefully we all have people in our lives that we're open. That we are open. Let me just say that again to hear like what the truth is. What, I think the term that I love the way Kim Smith is a coach that I encountered when I very first got here to Seattle, a Black female. She's an executive coach. And she said, Tracy, you're brilliant. You talk fast, you think fast. And the one thing I need you to focus on is how do other people experience you? I was like, ooh, tell me more. That language, right? But how do people experience you? Like you were a whirlwind. My grandmother used to call me a tornado. Hurricane. I'm from Florida, so there was some, I breeze in, breeze out, blah, 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 blah. I read all these books every time she met me. I was talking about something new. She's like, it's a lot. It's a lot, right? It's a lot. Like I was considered gifted, whatever, growing up. So I was that child, always learning stuff, always doing stuff, always talking about things. And so, and moving quickly too. So when she said that, I was like, I got it. So now as adults, right? As adults, when you can create a space where you're truly living powerfully, you know how people are experiencing you and you care in the moment, You don't be like, oh, well, I got to do me. I got to be me. No. If you already know that when you can do your saboteurs, your less than best self can cause other people, challenges, then you don't want that. Like we want to provide goodness and positive energy in the universe, and that's real. Those are people that are real, that are really serious, and everybody ain't serious. Everybody ain't ready. Everybody can talk the talk, but everybody's not ready to walk the walk. And again, I don't always walk it either. I'm in recuperation in some many ways myself. So trust me, it's a journey, and no judgment, right? Because you don't judge the other person. You just create a space for us to see and then hopefully respond. So back to those 3 words: intention, resilience, and then clarity around who you truly are. Like, that's the other thing. Like, how much time do we just pause? How often do we just pause around who you are and what you value, right? What you're here to contribute, right? It's about mindset and the operational excellence for your life. Like, if you know there's some gifts in you, are you afraid to put them into the universe? Are you afraid that people aren't going to pay you what you're worth? All those things are probably true. And doesn't mean you don't do it. It doesn't mean you don't show up, right, as your best self. I'm trying to see if my computer is going to stay focused. 74%, I guess that's a good thing. Sorry, it does say plugged in. It kind of dimmed for a second. Okay, so we will continue. So when you think about this, again, you never think about, the I can'ts. Literally, can't was a 4-letter word in my household growing up. Like, my mom, we could probably say some other 4-letter words before we could say the word can't. My mom would say can't. Come on, can't, meaning the word can't as a whole. Can't never could do nothing is what she would say, right? Like, she'd make it kind of a joke, meaning if you say you can't, of course you can't. But you can. You can do anything. And so the idea of even thinking what you can't do, right? This growth mindset concept. People talk about it, but what does it really mean to have a growth mindset when it comes to seeing ourselves clearly, seeing those around us clearly, and then wanting to show up in excellence, right? We talk about what it means, but how do you do it? This is what this work is about. It's like that next level of intention and activation. And what does it look like and feel like when you're struggling, right? What do you do differently? Right? How do you pause? How do you breathe? How do you choose? How do you take the one thing? Like, it's those steps that we get to do. And all we can do is just take a moment. And for each of us, it's like, write down, when you felt stuck, when your energy has been drained, and think about, like, what has been holding you back, right? What's been holding you back? And then really focus on what would bring you the most joy. Like, what is your purpose? So we're gonna pause. Let me just look at my time here. Okay, so we're halfway before the break, so I get to this is good stuff. So I'm just checking my screen. My producer gave me some options today, so I get to watch his notes and watch the time and all that good stuff. So thank you. So what we're gonna talk about right now is the concept of IKIGAI, IKIGAI. Let me just say that again. IKIGAI, IKIGAI. It's kind of like a blueprint of your purpose, right? It's this concept of saying, it's a Japanese philosophy that helps you locate what we call your sweet spot in life, right? The core, the intersection, the core of IKIGAI, and I said this part already, but I'm just going to slow down and say it. I get excited. So I'm going to slow down and say it. If you imagine 4 concentric circles, right? That circles that slightly, overlap just a little bit. And then in the middle, there's this little piece that aligns. And I can show some visuals, but I won't because I think I'd probably mess it up at the moment. I'm sorry. I'll do it another time. But for now, again, imagine 4 circles and imagine this concept of, what you love. And if you don't know what your Ikigai is, then we're going to talk about it real quick before the break. And then we're going to have you come back to say, are you living on purpose? So stay with me, and we're just going to walk through this together. There's 4 simple questions. Number 1 question, what do you love? What do you love? What is your passion? And it's these 4, that's one of them, right? 4 circles intersect in the middle. That's the sweet spot. So, they say that the the riches is in the niches, so to speak, meaning the niche. You find out, well, you could be doing a whole bunch of things. I love to eat. I love to, I love to write. You can do all kind of things, but it's when you combine all the four things, right? Not just what do you love, because there's going to be a lot of things in that circle. What are you good at? Because I love to eat. I'm really good at it, but I don't know if I can. What does the world need? That's your mission. And then what can you be paid for? What's your profession? So could I be a professional eater? Maybe. Could I do something where I'm not that passionate about, right? Like all kind of, food, all foods. And like, could I become a food critic? Maybe. I'm not that interested in doing that. Like I like eating, but I don't want to eat all the time. I don't want that to be my job. So it's like, where can you make all four of these circles connect? So I'm going to slow down again, but I just want to clarify. What do you love? What is your passion? For me, I like helping people, and I can help people. I like communicating, and I do communicate well. I have like 1,000 books in my head, and I can connect those dots. I like connecting dots. So when you have a problem, I can connect 50 different solutions and serve it up. Like I'm very strategic, but very operational. Strategic, I mean like high level. I can think high level. We talk about what you want and need, but then I can also be in the weeds designing databases, right? So like, let's go. So being able to be both strategic and operational, that's something I love to do. Like my passion is helping people, helping organizations, helping leaders who have a vision to get there. That's what I love to do. Love, 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 love. So that's my passion. I love helping people. I actually like helping people more than I love helping myself. I know, it's slightly crazy, but what I realize is helping people is helping myself, right? I'm still working on me. Oh, I'm still working on me, right? Helping support my own personal goals. When I tell someone about their morning routine, me too. I better have one. I better be tightening that up. But what I love is helping people. So think about what you love. What is your passion? If it's music, if it's whatever it is, children. I love children, but I don't love them that much. I don't have any. I made a choice early on. Like, I love helping children. I could coach them and train them, but I don't want any. Like, I didn't even like playing with baby dolls growing up. I never bought into the concept that, having a baby doll and feeding this thing and clothing it, like that was fun. Like I never bought into that. I'm like, no, thank you. I was a bit of a tomboy too. So I like to skateboard. I was out in the streets, gardening and doing things. So I was kind of, not a girly girl at all growing up. My knees will show you the scars from skateboarding. I was quite the skateboarder. But anyway, I'll say that to say I didn't buy into the children thing, but I have nieces and nephews who have children. I'd love to be even more involved in some of their lives. Some of them who've opened up and invited me in, I'm all in. So I'd love to lean in it. And then there's community youth, other people's children that have invited me in, and I'm all in, right? So it is my hope that what I'm doing here leaves a legacy for the next generation and the next generation and the next. Like this is timeless stuff. Like I hope I'm like Picasso. Somebody's gonna come back later. That lady had something. She had something, right? Anyway, hopefully I don't have to be dead for y'all to realize that. Nah, Anyway, so what do you love? What do you love? What do you love more than anything? What are kind of your top 3 things, maybe? What do you love? Let's start there. And then what are you good at? Meaning, what could be your vocation, right? Your vocation, meaning. When I say good at, I mean, for example, some people are just naturally can sing well. I cannot sing well. Like I love to sing in the shower, maybe, right? But I can't barely carry a tune. And I know that about myself, right? Navigationally, I'm navigationally challenged. So I can tell you what I don't do well. There's several things, though, that I do extraordinarily well without trying, better than most. Like I said, I'm really sharp. Like you can't give me too much information. My brain has lots of capacity for information. I don't like doing simple stuff. I don't like doing simple stuff. Meaning, if you have a strategic problem and there's lots of moving parts, I'm your girl. Like I'm all in. I love that. I love that. That's what I do right now. Like I'm helping people with big problems. I'm leaning in and I'm doing stuff that I think is this very strategic. right? It's also operational, that has elements of people involved, so like that's my vacation. I'm really good at it, right? And then what the world needs. And if you think about it, what does the world need as it relates to you? And a good song. So don't think I'm talking about the world needs, to find colonization on Mars, right? Like, yeah. But I'm saying, what positive energy, what positive impact can you bring to the world? Okay, I got 7 minutes before the first break. Just checking my time. So what you're good at is like, what are you really good at without trying? Like, could maybe I be trained to sing well? I don't even think so. Like I don't like it that much to have to go through that. You get what I'm saying? So a vocation, what you're good at is kind of what you're naturally good at. Like this is, and I feel good doing it. Like I have a finance degree. And I worked for both IBM and Disney in finance, like financial systems. Like I helped design a new forecast and planning system for the entire Disney enterprise. So when I say they saw me, one of 3 people for the entire Disney enterprise, all resorts, all parks, and everything else, right? Like that was me. So people see the magic that I bring. And I wasn't, one person was parks, all of the Disney parks. One person was all the Disney resorts, and I was everything else. So marketing, sales, like all the variety of everything else, that was me. Because the VP over finance was like, that one right there is brilliant. Let's have her go and collect and connect with these different organizations, each with different needs, right? Like and I loved it. It could have been too much for someone else, but for me, I was like, bring it on. Like, I loved it. I love connecting with the people. I love the information. So your vocation is something that you're good at and that you love doing, right? Your mission, going back to that, what does the world need? I do believe like there's so many nonprofit and small organizations and so many executives, right, with major organizations, leaders who have a heart and they want to serve. Even if I think about the diversity, equity, and inclusion side of work, right? The work that is being, demonized by some and minimized by others, right? It's like, I think understanding that we can take organizations to the next level in multiple ways is really powerful. So again, I think the world needs me. I think it needs, to help people to see that things are better when you do it together. Help people to see that they really can live powerfully every day, that joy is here for the taking, right? My first book that I contributed to was called Ignite Happiness. The second book was Ignite Your Inner Spirit. And the third book was Ignite Possibilities. And I was the project lead for Ignite Possibilities. We helped 30 authors birth their story about what's possible. And anything's possible, right? And that was so beautiful. If you think about it, the world needs that type of energy, like happiness and spirit and just recognizing that anything is possible. Like we need that. So I feel so on purpose. I feel so fulfilled. I feel so aligned. I feel so divinely inspired. Like God is, like I feel like I'm doing exactly what I was meant to do. And I didn't always feel that way in the corporate space, right? I knew I was getting information, and while I was in the corporate space, I was supporting nonprofits. I was still doing that work. I was a leader of the National Black MBA Association. I've been a part of it for 25 years, 30 years. So, I met someone in college with the Black MBA, right? So if I think about it, the world needs what I offer. And so think about if you're a cook, you're bringing joy to people. If you're a songstress or, whatever you love to do, if you're raising a family, we need some good parents with accountability to help your children get to the next level. So just know that whatever you're doing, it is a gift. How are you contributing to the greater good of the universe, of our people, the population, right? So I think it's positive. You know it when you feel it, right? You know for yourself. So what do you love? What are you good at? What's your vocation? What can you do without even trying, really, right? What the world needs, your mission is the number 3. And number 4 is what can you be paid for? Your profession. I also do work around strategic planning, marketing technologies is what I did when I was working in the corporate space, right? So I can help people, right? AI, certifications, and again, being a certified coach is great. So I can help people do a number of different things. It's really about tuning in to what you love to do. So it's when you align all four of those things, that is your Ikigai. And guess what? It's not a concept, it's a framework. It's like, how do you then align your daily actions to the work that you believe is the most important? So kind of draw your own little diagram is really the action. Let me just look at the time again. Perfect. 2 more minutes. So draw a little diagram as we go into the first break and write out what you love. Just put like 3 things in that box. And then what are you good at? 3 things in that box. What does the world need, right? And what can you be paid for? And where do they overlap, right? That's your soul's center. That is that sweet spot, right? And so we're gonna come back right after the break, and we're gonna talk about not only mental health and the purpose journey, right? But if we get real, purpose sounds beautiful, but it can feel impossible when you're under pressure, right? Right? You could be a high performing and still hurting. You could be a leader and still need support. And I think that's the piece where it's like, let's talk about the full human experience, right? Sadness and grief and overwhelm and anxiety. Those are real things, right? How do you recenter? Mental health is not just the absence of those things. It's the presence of peace, right? Which is why this living powerfully experience, and we've created a foundation which includes positive intelligence. It's not just positive intelligence, but includes that. It's a game changer because it's about building emotional fitness, emotional resilience, interrupting those destructive thought loops because it's a pattern, developing self-command muscles, creating that sage superpowers and tapping into those powers that we all have, right? And then if you do it as a team, then you all are recognizing, oh, okay, we all have these powers. So you can kind of help others, right? Help them minimize their own saboteurs, see how other people are experiencing them, recognize how you're influencing other people. So when you do a mental fitness check-in, you can rate the status of your mental fitness, right? How grounded are you today, right? Schedule the time, the energy, the intention, and then you want to prioritize it as well. So if I look at the time, we are exactly at 27 minutes. And I know that's when we take our first break with Rainier Avenue Radio. He said he wanted 1 file, so this is it. Yay. Rainier Avenue Radio. So we're going to pause, I guess. That's what I'll do. Yay. Actually, I'll just let it keep going. I don't know exactly what I should be doing right now. I'm going to pause. There you go. Hey, y'all, this is Dr. Tracy Harrell again, and we're back from the break, and I wanted to get back into this really, really juicy, awesome topic. So we are talking about living powerfully, right? But we're talking about living powerfully and living on purpose, right? I introduced this term, right? It's called IKIGAI, IKIGAI. We're going to talk a little bit more about that, but it's a Japanese term. There's really 4 main categories. We talked about this idea of 4 intersecting circles, right? Not just the idea of, it means like your reason for being. If Iki means life and Gai is really purpose, then it's like your life, your value, your purpose, your worth. It's like, what are you doing to create the true outcome? So I've had a few messages in the chat, so I wanted to kind of slow down and go back because this is a term that was introduced to me when I was like 13. And I think I had read Deepak Chopra's book. I saw it in a dentist's office once, and it was called The 7 Laws of Spiritual Success. I love that book. It's really small book, like small in size. It's pretty thin. I sometimes have my copy with me. I read it at least once a year. I have it on Audible as well. So I listen to it as well. It's a very easy read, but it's so powerful. So if you think about being on purpose, that's one of the things we all think about. Like if you're like A Purpose-Driven Life was one of the most popular books in the concept of self-help because it's like being on purpose is critical. It's not everything. thing. Like, how do you live on purpose? What do you do? And how do you even find your purpose? So I wanted to pause a little bit because I had like 3 questions in this short amount of time with people texting me who know me. Thank you. Who asked me the question about IKIGAI, like this concept of your reason for being. So if Iki is, again, Japanese, Iki means life. Gai, IKI is Iki. Gai, Gai, is, can be translated to mean purpose, value, or worth. So together, it's like what gives your life worth, what gives your life meaning, what gives your life purpose. So it is the thing. So living a life of purpose, right, means you found it out. It's not your job title, right? It's not a passion project. It's like a calling. It's like what brings you joy, like to your soul, right? That allows you to serve the world. So it's a combination of those 4 things that we had talked about earlier, right? It's a combination of the elements, like what do you love? Like, what's your passion? It's a combination of your vocation. What are you good at? What are you just naturally good at, right? What the world needs, that's the mission side of it, and then what you can be paid for, your profession side. So I'm gonna go down and talk a little bit more about this because of the question. Someone said, I'm not sure. So I'm gonna talk a little bit more about it. So you can start asking yourself these questions. So if there's 4 parts to the Ikigai, to your purpose, the living on purpose, like what brings you joy, what, that's the joy in living. A lot of people are like, oh, I've been working at this company for 25 years, for 35 years. Yay! But I don't feel fulfilled. Like I made it, but made it to what, right? And it's like, okay, I got you, right? That can be fulfilling. I worked in the corporate for 25 years, so I get it, right? I worked 8 years at IBM, both domestic and international. I always wanted to work international. So that was kind of part of my checking the box. I wanted to work. I worked in Mexico City and Rio, Brazil when I was with IBM. That was important to me. I had studied Spanish in school. I wanted to have an international experience. I vacationed all over the world as well, but I wanted to live and work in an international space. I probably would do that again, but right now I'm so excited. I'm so delighted that I'm able to live and do work right now in community that pays me well. And it's like, okay, just do what you like. God will make a way. Like when I was in Africa, I got some opportunities to teach at one of the universities. I will probably do that. But right now, there's work I know I'm doing right here as well. And so I have still in conversations with people there. So there are all kinds of things that are happening. I love my time in Europe. I had some amazing trips to Europe. So would I do that again? Yes. And I only say that to say, what do you love? I love to travel. So being able to do work that I love to do and being able to travel, which is part of my, passion, it's lovely, right? So if you had to say, okay, I'm not sure what my passion is, because I know that's what my three questions were related to, this concept of Ikigai. So your passion is a list of the activities that make you lose track of time. That's a passion. Like if playing music and, what do I do? What do I do just for the joy of it? Meaning, even if no one noticed, what would you do? Like, for example, playing music or, taking care of someone's child. Maybe you just have a passion for that, right? Fixing something up. Like I'm gonna make it better just because, right? And when was the last time that you truly felt alive? You just knew that you were on purpose, right? You were tapped into something. Some people love to dance. Some people are great mentors, storytellers. They love organizing. They can get into somebody's closet or garage and just lose track of time. Other people are like, oh my God, it's been a mess forever, right? Cooking, painting, healing others. Hey, cutie patootie. Hi. I have a little patootie here, a little cutie. So that's the passion part. So these are the energy activators. What, activities makes your soul say yes? I'm going to pause real quick. Okay. So again, back to the passion. What activities make you lose track of time? Whatever that is, that's a passion. Cooking. And then if you think about the second circle, right, is what are you good at? Your vocation. So ask yourself, what do people consistently ask me for help with? What comes super easily? You're about to be excommunicated out of here, Mr. Man. I have a little baby here. He's about to be excommunicated. Oh my goodness, I love that. Okay, we're live. That's what happens when you're live. We just keep moving. Okay, so we were talking about, again, your purpose, your passion, what you love, the thing that where you kind of lose track of time. The second circle of the IKIGAI is what you're good at, right? What are you good at? What's your vocation? What comes easily to you that other people oftentimes find difficult? That's a vocation. If you're good at it, what skills and strengths have you developed over time? Maybe you weren't originally good at it, but you've done it so much. You're like, Lord, I am an amazing whatever it is. Maybe it's childcare. Maybe, you've had to raise your younger siblings and now you're like, oh my God. Some people find this difficult, but not me, right? Maybe it's problem solving, deep listening, coaching. It could be designing. You could have a flair for design, right? Writing, facilitating. I do love facilitating. I love being in front of a crowd. I don't typically get nervous at all because it's like, if I'm there for a purpose, and my gifting, right? My gift to the universe. And so I love that, right? So these are your gifts. They're not just talents, but they're like superpowers. So when you think about what are you good at? What's your vocation? It's like, what are your superpowers? And you might be like, I don't have a superpower. You do. If you don't know these, talk to people who are close to you. That's another way you can kind of tap into your own purpose is for people who may be looking at you a little closer than you're looking at yourself. Like, oh yeah, you do. Because you're probably like, I don't even notice that I do it so well and it's easy for me. And other people may have noticed better than you have, right? So just putting that out there. So again, if you have your passion, all right, what you love to do, you have your vocation, what you do well, your superpowers, what the world needs is now you're talking about your mission. Like, what problems do I feel deeply called to help solve? Right? Back to that. It could be children. It could be, hunger. It could be, whatever it is, right? What causes or what causes or what communities pull at your heart, right? What if you had a magic wand and could change one thing in the world, what would that be? Right? Is it social justice? Is it empowering our youth? Is it climate change, climate action, cultural preservation? Whatever your call to service is, it's where empathy meets action. That's your call to service. Like, I have a heart, this matters to me so much so that I want to do something about it, and I would do something about it right now if I could, period, if I knew what to do. And then you go do it, you figure it out, right? So that's where the mission part comes in. What matters to you? What really matters to you? And some people have never done this work, and it's really important work to do. Fortunately, like I said, I learned about this when I was 13, and I was like, I keep my eyes open. Like, I actually like to fight for the underdog. Like, I do. I have, in one of the books I wrote, maybe two of the books that I contributed to, I think I wrote a little bit about, my story and being able to fight for the underdog. It's like, justice is one of my superpowers, or one of my values, rather. It becomes a superpower because I show up like, let's go, right? Like, I'm fearless when I feel like I'm fighting for a cause. It's like, oh no, you don't want to point me in a direction where someone said something and they're not doing what they said, and it's like not aligning with helping the greater good. Okay, now I need to help you get, right? And it's like, okay, I kind of pull myself off of that a little bit, but that's one of the things that for me, gets me excited. That gets me excited. Not in a bad way, but in a good way. Like, what can I do more of, and what can I do without even getting paid to do it? Fighting for justice, right? Fighting for a good cause. Which is the work I do now. I feel like a lot of us, in organizations are underutilizing our minds. So when I call this work a ministry of the mind, that's why the living powerfully experience is like, why don't we can all live powerfully? So again, you talk about three circles: the profession, we have the passion. The passion is first. The vocation is your superpower, the thing that you do well. Then your mission, like what means a lot to you, and then what can you be paid for? Like, what can be your profession, right? What will people actually pay me to do? Well, what do I do enough about, that I could teach, that I could sell, that I could, what do I know enough about, rather, that I could teach or sell or consult on, right? And how can I turn my skills into values for other people? So whether it's consulting or speaking or creating a product, healing arts, some online courses, like where's that sustainability lane, right? It allows you to live your purpose without burning out. So what could I get paid to do? That is when you have found your purpose. That's when you're living on purpose. So when these sections, these lines intersect, that's when you found your ikigai. You've actually, when you do what you love, what you're good at, where you feel satisfaction, and you if you lack income or impact, then you're not quite there, right? If you do what the world needs, what you're paid for, but you feel useful, but you lack joy, Ikigai is not lacking anything. It's right in the center of all of those things. I'm going to pause again because baby came back and baby's got to go. Hold, please. Okay, I'm just going to do a really quick time check. It looks like I'm at 40 minutes, so I have 10 more minutes, maybe 15, to keep going. So again, this is important. More so than anything I've ever done is making sure people are clear. When you found your ikigai, it's a combination. You're not lacking any of the things, right? You're not lacking income. You're not lacking satisfaction. You feel useful. The world needs you. You're getting paid for what you love. There's no lack of joy every day, right? You're doing what you're good at. You feel satisfied. You're like, ooh, like I'm telling you, I literally wake up sometimes and like, whoo, oh my God. So it's joy, it's mastery, it's service, and it's sustainability. It's all three of those things. That's Ikigai. Ikigai is when your life is just, you've laser focused on discovering your Ikigai. So you draw these circles, you label each circle. Just to break it down again, it's a guided exercise. So if you draw 4 circles that slightly intersect, like a Venn diagram, that slightly intersect, 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom, but they all intersect slightly. It's that little piece in the middle where they all intersect, right? They all intersect just a little bit. You can label one of them what you love, one what I'm good at, one what the world needs, and one what I can be paid for. And you're going to brainstorm in each one. Do it yourself and then ask other people. So, hey, I came up with a few things. I'm working on my life's purpose, making sure I'm aligned, right? Mid-year check-in. You have to wait this June. Mid-year check-in, right? And be honest and be expansive, right? Leverage all of the options, leverage your resources. So you want to look for themes. You want to connect, across the circles. Where is there overlap, right? And you look for the stories and the patterns that are that emerge once you start doing that. How did these connect to the legacy that you want to not leave, but the legacy that you want to live? Are you with me? We're living our legacy now. We're not leaving it. If you're living it, then by definition, you leave it. But you're not focusing on what you're going to leave. You're focusing on what are you living right now? What can people see in you? Not what you say, but what you do. Are you showing up for community? Are you showing up for yourself? Are you showing up for your family? Are you at work more than you're at the softball game with your kids? You better straighten up. At the end of the day, if something happened to you, you will not regret missing a day at work. But that softball game, your child's play, right, whatever it is, it's like check yourself and make sure that you're investing time in the things and the people that really matter. You're leaving a legacy. If you have children, that's part of your legacy. If you have nieces and nephews, that's part of your legacy too. So when you think about creating a life centered around your sweet spot, look, what does it look like daily? If every day you were doing something that was aligned to your sweet spot, then hey, sound like we got a plan, right? So I love this more than anything. And so if you said, what don't I know, about myself? Well, what if I don't know what I love anymore? Then just start small. We connect with something that you used to love when you were a child. Joy is something that's rediscoverable. Give yourself permission to explore these topics. It's not like if you don't know and you've never had this conversation with yourself, and you definitely haven't had it with anybody else, then you're probably, not quite clear. Or maybe there's just been something tugging at your heart that you've been shutting down. You like my look? Right? typically we all have something that we've been shutting down. Like if you have a skill and an energy, sometimes we've been silencing that voice so long, it barely is whispering. So now you kind of roll your eyes back, roll your memory back to say, can it change over time? Absolutely. There could have been something that you wanted to do back then that's not aligned with who you are now. It's not, you want to be somewhat aligned with your goals. Do something that if you're not 100% sure, move in the direction toward what you know so far, right? It may not all be laid out very clear. You may be like, I'm not sure, but I think this is it. Start in that direction and the universe will direct you. But if you stay here, you're not going to be any closer to finding your path, right? But you do have to take a step, one little thing every day. And if you have multiple ikigais, which many people do, life can be seasonal. Focus on the ikigai that's calling you right now, right? Stay open to the others that may emerge later, that may continue to evolve over time. But you want to be in a position where you're saying, I see my, my mission. I see my vision, right? I want to be high performing. I want to build all these emotional, this emotional fitness, this mental fitness. I want to disrupt those destructive thought patterns. I want to build these self-command muscles. I want to do all these things. And I definitely want to be on purpose. Great. You can't really talk about purpose and legacy without talking about consistency. You can't talk about living powerfully without talking about consistency either. So the big C is clarity and consistency. You get clarity by asking yourself these questions, by creating a space where you can pray, meditate, right? Pause and ponder, journal, whatever works for you. But you do need to provide clarity. Writing it out, like having a vision that's written out, is so powerful. So I think being in a position where you've done that or can do that, and if you've done it early in the year, June is the perfect time to reconnect. Right? Most people fail to reach their potential, not because of a lack of purpose, but because of a lack of structured consistency, right? You don't build a legacy in a day. You build it through your daily habits. It's consistency in taking care of your mental and your physical well-being. It's saying yes to what aligns with your ikigai, your purpose, right? And you say no with grace when it doesn't, right? That's the North Star. The ikigai becomes your North Star. Where do you invest your time and your energy? On the thing that aligns with your purpose. It's easy for you. That's how you're able to talk about things being ease and flow. I don't think about this. I can get up here and talk all day. As you can see. I can talk all day about this stuff because it's like I have 1,000 books in my head, and someone helped me to say, be very intentional, like stay focused. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm actually creating a space where I am laser focused on you all, creating a space where you all are living powerfully, where you all can absolutely live powerfully. That's the work that I love to do. So let's talk about consistency. Consistency is about doing something every day. So choosing, and I guess, again, positive intelligence, it's not everything. Some people like it. Some people are like, it's not for me. I don't need the app. I don't need the this. I don't need the that. But the concept of pausing, of breathing, of using something physical to focus on, whether squeezing something hard and releasing, right? Or touching something soft and just rubbing your fingers together. But remembering to breathe, like pause. We talked last week about pausing and choosing. Like that's what this is about, pausing and choosing. And committing every day to doing something that aligns with your purpose, whatever that is. One thing every day. So it's that consistency compass, this ikigai concept, this purpose-building opportunity that you have before you, this concept of living powerfully. It really is all the things that we're talking about here with, this level of energy around just being purposeful. So the action here is build a consistency compass. Build something in your life says, hey, these are the 3 things I'm going to commit to doing every day. They align with your purpose. They align with your goals. They align with things you want to accomplish. But they're also, again, laser focus in that center of what you do well, what you love to do, right? What you do with ease, what you do better than most, right? What is contributing to the well-being of others in the universe, right? And you may not be getting paid. You got to get excommunicated again. I got a little baby here. So that is really about, how do we truly create, legacy? And legacy is really about motion. Legacy is not about what you leave behind when you're gone. It's about what are you living every single day. And the truth is, legacy is already being written about you. It's in every conversation. It's in every decision. Hey, little sweetie. Yeah, this one right here. At every moment of integrity. I'm sorry, baby. I'm not going to pick you up. I'm not going to pick you up. Sorry. Hold, please. Hold. Okay, y'all. I have to pause because this is just so good. And again, if you think about legacy, consistency, and we said, right, this idea of being on purpose. Legacy is what is happening right now. It's all your legacy is already being written, right? It's in every conversation. It's every decision that you're making. It's every moment, right? Every moment in and moment out. These choices we make, you're building legacy, right? If you're trying to lose weight and it's working because you're choosing vegetables over breadsticks or cheesecake, that's a legacy. People are watching. Your young relatives are like, oh, what did they do? Oh, they ate healthier. Oh, I can do that too. I can choose well. I like to use the term, and people who know me know, I like to say, let's end well. Right? I don't know what just happened here, but let's end well. Let's make sure that this doesn't happen again. That's a whole nother conversation, but at least let's end well. And I think ending well means let's, start well too. Like, let's start your day with intention. So if legacy in motion is like, they talk about keynote speakers. I'm a keynote speaker. Keynote says you set the tone for the event. So your day, you set the tone for your day. So when you wake up early and you decide, these are my intentions for the day, I'm going to be on purpose. So all this other stuff that comes in, you've already built a force field. You've already decided what's going to fall within that target of like, what do you do now? So someone asked a few weeks ago, they said, hey, we're talking about Mental Health Awareness Month. And they said, I find it hard to get out of bed some mornings. And I'm not a therapist. I'm not, but I have found it hard to get out of bed myself. So I can only speak for myself, right? So I provided resources, right, for people, but I know what that feels like. And so I'm speaking from personal experience, and I'm still struggling in some days. I have a mental, both a mental and a physical. No, I have some physical chronic diseases. Like I have lupus. So some days I feel 19 and some days I feel 90. Do you understand what I mean by that? Like some days I'm like, oh, thank God. Like I feel, and other days I'm like, the pain, the energy, like lupus, it's infecting my kidneys. Like your body literally attacks itself. Yeah. So it could be cray to say the least. And so I say that to say, I know what it means to feel like you can't get out of bed. To just be tired and be like in pain or whatever. I also had PTSD. I was hit by a drunk driver and it changed my perception of driving in general. Right. So I get it. I just wanted to clarify. A lot of people pretend like everything is great and wonderful. Like I used to be, X then, but now I'm wonderful. Listen. I have some skills for sure. I have some tools that can help individuals for sure, but I'm also on my own journey, right? I am. So when you think about living powerfully, knowing that your legacy is being written now Make sure every choice you make is something that inspires others to rise. I have 3 minutes max, so I'm going to keep going. So make sure that what you're doing is actually going to help others. And if I die tomorrow, you have to ask yourself that question. What will people remember about you? Right? Does how I'm living today reflect that legacy that I want people to live, to think about me? Tracy showed up. That's all I want y'all to say. She showed up giving the best she had every chance she could. She wanted to help people and thought that she had the power to do so and put information out into the universe. That's what this show is about for me. I'm leaving legacy right now. Right now. I'm not getting paid $1 to do this, but it's fulfilling to me because I know that my voice is impacting people. I've seen people literally that I did not know that was like, oh my God, that was so good. Oh, thank you. Right. So as we close and reflect today, I wanted to just cover 3 things, right? This concept of daily rituals, have your morning mindset set each day. Start with the question, how can I serve with purpose today? How can I serve and live powerfully today? Bing! Right. That's a whole different, right? It's a different level of intention. I'm not sure how I'm going to get out of bed or why I need to get out of bed, because you're helping other people. You put on this earth, you're giving a gift. It's our responsibility. Let's go. If that's not your thing, great. What can you do for yourself, for your kids? All the whatever it is for you, right? Decide. So that's why these are so personal. These questions are personal about you finding your IKIGAI, right? What you love to do, what's powerful for you, what's meaningful for you. Your IKIGAI is not going to be the same as any other person on this earth, likely, because you have different skills, right? You may have similar passions, but you probably can do something better than they can do, right? So if you think about it, you want to take a moment of stillness to breathe and smile inwardly and choose a response. When there's any type of activation that is not aligned with where you want to go, how you want to show up, then you get to pause and breathe and choose, right? That's important too, in the moment. Because when you show up and do something different than what you said, then it's not authentic. So it is important that we pause and we breathe. I'm checking time again. Thank you. I got 3 minutes or 1 minute. Okay. So here's how I want to close. But the last thing is about gratitude and impact. So if you're going to start the day being very purposeful, what can I do to serve today? Then when you end at night, write down something that you're grateful for, at least one thing that you're grateful for, and one way that you made a difference in that day. So gratitude and impact is how you can close your day. You're not by accident. Right? Your voice and your vision and your values, they all matter. So stop waiting, start living, live powerfully, live consistently, and live on purpose. Woo! That's it. All right, y'all. I love you so much. This is Dr. Tracy Harrell signing off with love, signing off with purpose. I pray that you are all living powerfully. So much more to come. Thank you.